Good morning, everybody. Excited to have you all here this morning. In case you missed it on the way in, there's handouts that are going to directly follow what we're talking about, which my pet peeve is when they don't follow what we're talking about, and we're actually going to follow, so hopefully you don't have to write too much, but yeah, there's also coffee, help yourself, and then if anybody's interested, there's business cards for me in the back, and there's also business cards for a friend of mine that we're going to talk about later too in the back as well. But I wanted to I think I know everyone here and kind of what their deal is, so we'll speak specifically to your companies as much as possible. But I did want you guys to know, I want you to feel free to ask questions. I'll pause in several gaps and ask, but don't feel like you have to wait. If I said something that doesn't make sense, the whole point is for it to make sense, so let me know, and I'm happy to clarify. For those of you that have never heard of Unita Marketing, we are a full-scale marketing agency. We specialize in search engine optimization for small businesses in the service sector, and that's because if somebody's looking for something online, we want them to be able to connect with your business. But we don't leave it there. We also deal a lot with user experience, making sure that when they do find you, that they have a great experience, find what they're looking for right away, and then that they take that next step, buy your product, fill out the form, call you, whatever it is you want them to do. We look at that as that kind of third tier conversion optimization. So we look at our role for search engine optimization, landing page optimization, and then conversion optimization. We try to take customers through that entire journey. With that said, today we're going to be talking about, that's me. Yeah, I love what I do, and I love small business all day, every day. So you guys can read more about me on the website. I don't really need to do that up here, but this is our third of 4 sessions. So you didn't miss anything that you needed for today's session. But session 1 and session 2 will be available by video. So if they seem appealing to you and you miss them, I'm happy to send you those videos. I have session 2 on my YouTube channel already. Session 1, I'm still waiting on the original file, so I don't have that one yet. But that's okay. The slide deck's available if you need that too. I'm happy to share anything I have with you guys. I want you to be successful in your business endeavors, and of course to call me if you need help. So session 1, we talked about branding basics, keyword research, and website design, kind of like starting at the very beginning. Session 2, we talked about like that next layer of setting up your social media platforms and setting up all the directories and how that can help you in your search engine optimization efforts. Today, we're going to be focusing on email marketing, digital advertising, and measuring results. We're going to get nitty-gritty into results today, and I totally nerd out over data, and I'm really excited to share this information with you. Email portion, we're going to go through it pretty quickly. It's pretty straightforward. The purpose of email marketing, client retention, right? Very rarely are you going to get someone new through email, but we want to keep the people that already know about you very happy. That's a very important aspect of email marketing. It's more like relationship marketing, thinking about cultivating a relationship with the people that are already aware of your brand and keeping them there. And then of course, you can also use it in a markety way, right, and capture new audiences. I think I'm probably not sharing any new information with you saying that's not typically the most successful way to capture new audiences, but it does help a little bit. So, hey, welcome.
Hey,
don't be afraid to come in and take a seat. There's plenty of seating up here, so get cozy. This place is about the most coziest place on earth. So yeah, come on in. No, welcome. So, why email, right? So we've talked about, not necessarily the best way to grab new people, but it's a great way to provide consistent, valuable information, to foster trust, build credibility, and keep your company at the forefront of customers' minds. That last one is huge, right? I think sometimes as business owners, we make the mistake of posting something on Facebook and thinking that the whole world saw it. They didn't. This many people saw it. So when you're taking the time to prepare some content, we want to put it on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, right? We all know these things, right? But we also want to put it through email, right? So we don't want to we don't want to send an email every single day, of course. Like, however often you post on social media is probably a little more frequent than you're going to email. But you do want to use that extra platform because people are actually reading them. And we'll talk about how to look at your stats and whatnot. But it's just one more way. If you're taking the time to develop content, it's one more way to meet your audience where they are. So tips and tricks. this is kind of like, just some random information that I want to share with you. Constant Contact is my go-to. So if I'm working with somebody who doesn't already have an email platform set up, Constant Contact is my favorite. It's the most straightforward. It's very user-friendly, and the best thing about Constant Contact is they have a tremendous resource department. I mean, tons of information. They want you to be a Constant Contact expert. They will help you. Their customer service is fantastic. So if you're shopping around, just stop shopping and go that way. I love them, and I'm not making money on this. This is not a commercial. It's just real. The other ones are fine. We use all of them, and they're pretty intuitive. Like, intuitive in terms of making a group of people that are similar minded, right? So if you're e-commerce, for example, like these people have been interested in shoes and these people were interested in the white shirt or what, you can make a group that's pretty intuitive across all platforms. But where Constant Contact really is helpful is when you're actually designing the email itself. I don't know if you guys have ever tried it, but it is, if you're not a web designer, it can be really frustrating, right? It looks perfect in your dashboard, and then you hit that test email and you're like, what is that, right? There's a little less what is that happening with Constant Contact. And if you do still have the what is that moments, there's a great resource department and great customer service. So that's why we like it the best. A mistake that I see a lot is that every time you try to type an email, you start from scratch. Build a template. The first one you do is going to take probably all day long, right? Or you can hire somebody like us to do it for you. But if you're doing it yourself, don't be frustrated if it takes you all day. It's hard. It's a lot of work, especially if you're not a web designer. I mean, that stuff does not come natural to us. But once you've built your template, don't reinvent the wheel next time you go to send an email. Copy the last email you did that you finally liked, that you were finally happy with, and then swap out the content, swap out the images. That's the biggest advice I can give you guys. I see this a lot where it's like every email takes you all day long, and it should not be that way. Keep your lists limited and to your relevant audience. Now, if you have unlimited amounts of money, you can ignore that statement. Most of us do not. The more contacts you have, the more you're paying Constant Contact or MailChimp or whoever you're using. So when you purchase these large lists of random people that it's going to go into their spam box and they're never going to read it, you're just throwing away money, right? But if you've actually cultivated a relationship with these people, like for example, if you guys signed up, you're like, oh, I really like Rebecca, I think she's going to give me some relevant information, which I will if you sign up for my newsletter. All information like we're talking about today, just relevant, helpful things to help you grow your business. That's because you guys are invested, right? You kind of like what I'm talking about and you want to sign up for my newsletter. You're going to be looking for it. You're going to see Unita Marketing show up in your inbox, and you're way more inclined to read, less waste of a time, right? Your contact is worth me paying for. Once you get over 500 contacts, you start spending some real money, right? I've got a client who, just a fun agency story for you. I made the mistake of not asking how many contacts they had before doing their bidding. And then, so we signed proposal, prices were all set, and they're like, oh yeah, I've got 9,000 contacts. I'm like, that stinks, because I'm eating that every single month into infinity, because I work with my clients for years and years and years. And I'm still eating it today. So here we are. So agency owners out there, ask how many contacts they have before you price all their everything. So anyway, that's fun. But check your insights. I mentioned that before. We have a lot of things to check, right? We have our inbox full, we have social media accounts to check, we have all the things to check. And it is just one, oh good.
Make sure HDMI port is this.
Thank you, sir. Just squeeze it probably right there. All right. So it is one more thing to check, but my recommendation to you is when you go to produce your next newsletter, just take an extra second to look at the last one. How did it do? Did it do way worse than the last one? Did it do way better? And then ask yourself what you did differently, and did it work, did it not work? Think about your subject line a lot. Take your time with that. Use ChatGPT or something to give you like 20 ideas, like, hey, this is my content, what's grabby and attention grabbing. Making sure that it's not, hello, my name is Rebecca. Like, right? I mean, just take your time with it, and you want it to be engaging, and you also want it to be what it's about, though. So not just something like, you can't miss this. Like, yeah, I can. Like, give me something that you're going to talk about, right? Like, tease me, give me the information.
I'm inside the house.
No, not that one. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to talk about what to do with email and what not to do with email. Incorporate your content from that you're already developing into your monthly newsletters. That's the best advice I can give you. If you're already developing content for blogs, videos, even if it's just social media posts, put them all together and kind of look at what are the themes and how can I tie this all together and what can I link to, right? So if you're using blogs, it's the best way to go. You take, your last couple of blogs, link them together, provide a little seasonality content, and then link to those blogs in your newsletter. Because the idea is not for the person to read it and go, that was great, and close their inbox. The idea is for the person to read it, click through to your website, learn more about what you're doing, and eventually become a client, right? That's the idea. So we want to draw them to the website. So provide that engaging content, that work that you're already doing. Yeah?
The blog, did they put a teaser and then click to read the rest, or do the full blog in there and click to?
Yes, great question. So the question was, do I put the full blog in there and then click to it? And then try to click to it, or do I do like a teaser and then click to it? Great question, and it's the second one. If you put all the information,
That's what
there's
I did.
no,
I did the teaser, so that's why.
yeah, then I don't want to click because you already gave me everything, right? So what I want to do is I want to talk about, hello, good feelings, right? Here's what we've been talking about lately. Check it out. That's what we want to do. And we don't want an email that's this long. Hopefully that's on the what not to do page, but if it's not, don't make your emails this long, please. Nobody's going to read all of them. Provide useful information with various CTAs throughout. CTA stands for call to action. So I'm going to say this gently and lovely, and if you're doing this, don't feel bad because everybody does it. But if you are, for example, somebody who's selling shoes, I really am not interested in your recipes. Okay? I'm not. If you're somebody who sells running shoes, I'm interested in your protein shake recommendation because I'm a runner. That's relevant. I'm not interested in your bolognese recipe. That's not relevant. Do you see the difference? So you can find interesting pieces of information that are related to your audience and in your industry. Know who your audience is. My audience is business owners for the most part, right? So when I'm giving out relevant, interesting information, it would be maybe time-saving tips, right? Or, hey, this is a great project management tool we just started using and we love it and I wanted to tell you guys about it, right? It has nothing to do with marketing, but it's interesting information. So don't be afraid to put information that's not exactly salesy, right? And I do recommend that you do that, but it needs to be somewhat related. I'm working with a machine fabrication client right now, and we're doing this little did you know section, and it's like kind of nerdy, but it's like I'm actually like interested in it now. We're talking about like just random machine facts that happened on that day X number of years ago. Like the first steam shovel, and like yesterday I was talking about like the first Boeing blank number that I can't remember, and but it's like that's his audience. His audience is like they're in machine shops, and that's who they are. And they love that stuff. I'm like, I am not that person, and I kind of think that's interesting, but that person's going to think it's really interesting, right? So just adding that little section. I'm going to call Rebecca Boynton out from All American Relocation right over here. She produces an amazing newsletter for them, and something I love that Rebecca does, this is really, really smart, is she takes an interesting section, like an interesting fact or something, asks a question, but guess how you find the answer? It's not in the newsletter. You got to click through to the website to get the answer. And then guess where you are? You're on the website. And then, oh, look at all these moving. So I didn't know they had storage. Oh, I'm going to give them a call, right? So that's super, super smart way to do it. And that's a perfect example of a call to action. It's not just, hey, here's some information. It's, hey, here's some information that you could know if you click through to our website, right? Include a footer with links to your socials. I mean, guys, you want people to call you? You want people to follow you? Give them the goods. Put it right there in front of them. Every single email should have all the things. Facebook person wants Facebook. An Instagram person wants Instagram. A phone call person wants your phone number. An email person wants your email address. Give them everything. If you're a storefront, give them your address. Link it to the map so that if they're looking from a mobile device, they can click through and they're on their way to your store. They're buying their running shoes, right? Give them everything in everything you do, especially those emails. Those emails, I mean, they just can be full of links. Really, really great opportunity to link to all the things. Follow a branded, polished template. That's where people like us come in. making sure that your template looks nice. It can be really nice sometimes when you look at a template and you're like, oh, I can see that they're trying so hard. I mean, it's not necessarily like you don't want to go to that business because they don't have a beautiful template. You know, most of us know it's a small business and they're doing their best. So I don't think it's necessarily a terrible thing if it's not there, but when it's there, it feels really nice and clean, right? You're representing your brand in a consistent way, like we talked about the week, last time through socials and social media and directories, how you want your user to have the same experience and feel your brand, like actually feel whatever you want them to feel when they're looking at your logo and your branding. We want them to feel that same thing with your email. And a designer can absolutely do that for you. They can do it in their sleep. I don't know how they do it. I'm not one, but I have a great one. If you need help, call us. And remember, it's a one and done, right? Because you're just copying every email from there on out using that same template. Incorporate images, incorporate images, incorporate images. Lots of long text is a big no-no. We want to have bullet points, we want to have headers, we want to have images, because people are going to scroll and they're going to look for things that grab their eye. If the picture is dull and boring, it's not necessarily going to do a whole lot. But if it's a picture of something that's what you're talking about, it's like, oh, okay. And then they read the header, and then they read the small text, right? But people will naturally, I mean, it's not people, it's you too. Think about the way you read an email. You're scanning it, boring, boring, boring. Oh, that's interesting. And then you read that part, right? If it's just a bunch of words, you're not going to read any of it. It's just the way we all do. Balance personal and professional messaging. I need to do better. I convict myself when I do this, when I talk about this. If you look at my messaging, there's none of me in there. And I think it's really a great thing. I always encourage the people that we work with to bring some humanization into your messaging, right? To bring a little bit of yourself, like show your, have a picture of you working in the office, turn around like, oh, hey, whatever, just so that people can kind of like see, like you're actually, they can envision you doing your job. Call Rebecca out again. She does a great job of this, like when she goes on site where the movers are and like takes pictures of them and then brings that in. But then there's also pictures of like events where like, hey, we won this award and like we're really happy, or hey, we're having dinner together. Like balance it all out, right? You don't want to have a bunch of pictures of you arms around each other smiling. I mean, a bunch of those, it would be weird. A picture of your cat would be weird, right? So think about like how, but if you need a little humor to grab something at the end, like, maybe the picture of the cat works well for your something that you're talking about, but probably not, but it could. But you don't want to have all of this or all of that, right? And generally speaking, you kind of stay away from the random stuff. Any questions on that? I think this is the end of the email section. Let me make sure. Oh, what not to do. Don't spam people. Don't email them every day. Please, 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 please. They'll just unfollow you. You'll get a little notification like, you got 2 unfollows. Well, that's a check yourself moment. Like, what did I do that was annoying? Oh, I sent an email every single day. My bad, right? I don't even recommend an email every week or 2. I recommend monthly. Then people kind of look forward to it. They actually read it. It's not too much. And also, I mean, how much content are you developing, really? If you do monthly, you can kind of roll it all together and you have enough meat to make a newsletter. Don't use cheesy language. Don't use poor images. If it's not good enough of an image, if it's not high resolution, just skip it. Just don't use it. Don't include annoying information. We talked about that already. Baseless CTAs, such as contact me or call me, that don't link to anything. Think about that. Like, hey, contact me for a free consultation. How? How do I contact you for a free consultation? If you're wanting them to do a consultation with you, if you have a scheduling app or something, link directly to that. Link to your contact page. If you say call me, link to your phone number. If you don't know how, Google it, call me if you need help. Include all internal company information. Do not include all internal company information. Yeah, so you don't need to talk about all the ins and outs that aren't interesting to other people. So when you're presenting information, just think about who are you talking to? What's interesting to them, right? They don't need all the jargon. You want to dumb it down a little bit. You want to talk about what benefits them, not the internal ins and outs of the company. And we talked about not providing random facts that have nothing to do with anything. So, and I'm not making fun of people when I say that. It really does happen. Any questions about email?
One more real quick.
Yeah.
Value to feature
I think it's a great idea.
Okay.
And we do build that into our templates. If the question was, what's the value of featuring a review in each newsletter? If you have a decent amount of reviews coming in, it's a great idea. If you get one every 6 months, it's awkward. So think about that. Yeah, that's the answer to that question. Does that make sense? Yeah, okay. So digital advertising. We're gonna jump in, and first thing I wanna talk to you guys about is the difference between Google Ads, Google Local Service Ads, and social media ads. Those are kind of the three main types of digital advertising platforms. It's not the only ones, there are others. If you are a contractor or a service related and you're using Thumbtack, House, anything like that, I'll talk to you on the side about that. That's very industry specific, so I left it out of here, but it is relevant, and I'm happy to have a side conversation with you after this. Google Ads, Google Local Service Ads, and social media have broad appeal across all industries, and usually everybody needs at least one platform, at least here or there. So let's get into the differences. Google Ads and Google Local Service Ads match intent. And what I mean by that is somebody's actually looking for the service that you provide when they see that ad. Social media ads are well targeted, but they're better for just overall brand experience, overall exposure. You can't match it exactly with intent. So if I'm looking for a pair of running shoes, for example, I'm not gonna go to Facebook to look for a pair of running shoes. I'm gonna go to Google and look for a running shoe store near me, right? It's funny, I don't even know where I come up with this stuff. I don't run ever. If I'm ever running, I told you guys the other day, come with me, because there is a major emergency, and I'm like, just come with me. But anyway, if you're looking for a running store near you, you're going to Google to look for it, right? You're going to Apple Maps, Google Maps, somewhere like that, but you're not going to Facebook or social media or LinkedIn. So you've got to think about the scrolling activity. You're just going to randomly see that ad, and yes, if you are a runner, we can match that interest, right? We can say, oh, she's a runner living in 27587. That's my girl right there. I want to make sure she sees that ad. Oh, and she's looked at these websites. You know, we can match interest, but we can't match intent. I don't necessarily need any running shoes if I'm a runner in 27587, but I might see that ad. Does that make sense, guys? That's a major difference. The other good thing to think about is social media ads are way cheaper. They're way cheaper because they have way lower conversions, because you're just showing it. It's like you're casting a much wider net. Whereas local service ads and Google ads get more expensive because you're showing it to the right person at the right time. That's the difference. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So when you show it to the right person at the right time, of course you have to pay more for that. And so it makes sense that it costs more. And I don't work for Google or Meta or anybody. So I'm gonna give you guys an example of a recent campaign we worked on with a local HVAC company. They're local HVAC, and they're based out of Raleigh. So I don't know if you guys have ever seen a Raleigh HVAC company. There's a few. Right, and they're spending an average, $20,000 to $40,000 a month on advertising. My client's spending less than $5,000. Very proud of that. And they're on page 1 at the top, by the way, if you search organic. But they need ads on top of organic, right? They're showing up at the top, but their competitors are taking up ad space. And the ad space, you guys may have noticed, takes up a lot of the screen, mm-hmm. right? So it's just to play, just to be a part of the game, they've also got to run digital advertising all the time. We also run Google Local Service Ads for this client too. I'm going to show you guys what it looks like in search results so you can see the difference. However, this particular client noticed one of their competitors was giving away free HVAC installation quotes. And they invested in some online calculator that could produce this quote for you instantly. And he said, we do something way better. I've got people standing by who can produce the quote with a brain that's spent over a decade in this industry. They can produce this quote from a human in less than 5 minutes. From receiving the request to having an answer, less than 5 minutes, and it's going through the filter of a human brain that also uses a calculator. And it's way more accurate results, right? And he was like, what do I do? I was like, oh. Right, it's like my favorite. Okay, so what we did was we made a beautiful 30-second video of this guy talking about the tool and how they use it and how they can. Well, first we built them an actual form, a landing page, right on their website. But then we took a video of him talking about how it's done by real humans, and it's not instantaneous, but in less than 5 minutes you can have a real quote that's actually something they can stand behind. And he talks about this on social media, so then we take it onto Meta and we boost it, right? We throw some money behind it. We're currently boosting it for the third time. We do different intervals, and that's kind of me getting in the weeds, which I tend to do, but it's working. It's working very, very well. When you click on this social media ad, it brings you directly to the landing page that we built based on this campaign, and people are filling out the form and people are getting quotes, and it's working, and I'm very excited about it. So I wanted to kind of walk you through that example, because talking about that tool wouldn't really, it sort of works in digital advertising, like with Google ads and local service ads, but it really catches fire in something like social media, because he's going after specific zip codes, right? So we're able to show this to the people that own a house between a certain age, right? We're not going after the 20-year-olds, we're going after the people that are a little bit older, who have like a nice property, they own a home, they're in certain zip codes, we're showing it to them. And also the nice consequence too is that you expand your social media following a little bit. Any questions about that example I just gave? Nope. Oh shoot, did I delete slides on accident this morning? Oh, I didn't. Okay, we're gonna go back and click on this one. I'm gonna show you guys what it looks like. So this is a typical search engine result. And I'm just gonna take you guys through what it looks like. This portion at the top, this is a sponsored ad. That's a Google ad, that comes from Google Ads. These guys right here, this is Google Local Service Ads. So Google Local Service Ads, you'll notice you don't get a lot of information. It links directly to your Google Business Profile. Is everybody here familiar with Google Business Profile? It used to be called Google My Business. Okay, so this is Google Business Profiles pulling in. These people are paying money for their Google Business Profile to show in that spot, right? And you'll notice the options. You can click to get a quote, to book, get a phone number. You can't, do all the things. It's different. You're not linking directly to the website. You're only paying for leads with Google Local Service Ads. I know it's a little bit of a mouthful, but local service ads versus Google Ads. So for local service ads, you're not driving traffic to your website like you are in Google Ads. So they cost a lot more, because every single person that clicks it's a lead. So you're paying per lead instead of paying per click. So it's very different than Google Ads. Does that make sense, guys? Okay, so the 3 calls to action are all different leads for these clients. Get a quote, book, or call. Those are all 3 like cha-ching, check, right? Versus if we look down a little further and see this right here, this is coming from Google Ads, but they've linked their Google Business Profile in the back end of their Google Ads. So that's a different way to pull in your ad. And you can't guarantee you're gonna show up like Mitchell. Now Mitchell's got lots of money, so they have a good, some of what we're looking at is because I'm logged in as me. Let me find, so these are all organic results, right? These are all people, these people did not pay, but now we get down to some more Google Ads down here. So underneath sponsored right here, if you miss that, you think these people are showing up. These people are paying to be here. So if I were to click on that Kilmatology or whatever, that person is gonna pay for me to click on that ad. And I don't know about you guys, but have you ever clicked on a sponsored ad and been like, oh, that's not where I meant to go, and backed out? That person paid for you to do that. So don't do that, because they're all small business owners, right? They're all hustling and they're paying for that click. So like if you click on it, at least look, right? At least look around and learn about their business, because they're paying for you to make that click. But anyway, I'm gonna just show you guys a couple of features of the digital ads. This is Google Ads. So this is the business name. If I click here, you can see in the bottom where I'm gonna go. Looks like their homepage, right? If I was asking, I just typed in HVAC companies near me. If I typed in heat pump installation near me, that's very specific. Hopefully this person would have configured their ad so that I land on their heat pump page, not just their homepage, right? So that's where landing page optimization comes in. You want them to land on the right page at the right time. The part down here at the bottom, these are additional calls to action. Get a free quote. HVAC companies near me. That's a mistake. Cool, I hate to see that. Okay, services. This person has their service page linked here. these both make sense. That is very sad. Hate to see that. So let's look at Blanton's. They probably spend a little more money. $70 heating tune-up special. That's a great little feature. Like, oh, I need a heating tune-up. I'm going to click on that instead. Special offers, service area, contact us. They inputted all of this information, right, on the back end. So there's a lot that you can do with Google Ads to kind of customize them a little bit more. Yeah, and I think that's about it for that. Now let me go back to the slide. I'm going to show you guys how that social media ad looks. Let's see. So we've got an
Think
HVAC
about
guy.
replacing your HVAC system. We proudly offer an HVAC installation quote in just a matter of minutes. Our quotes aren't instant because real humans, our local team right here in our window office, created them just for you. We proudly serve Raleigh and all surrounding areas. Being local means you can offer top-notch service at affordable pricing. Go ahead, shop around. To get started today, visit us at jsraleigh.hvac.com.
All right, so if I were to
Everyone,
click here,
I'm
which
just-
I'm not going to because that would mess up the results a little bit, you would land directly on the page you're looking for. Oh, I want a quote. That sounds cool. You're gonna land on that page and you're gonna fill out the quote, and in less than 5 minutes you're gonna have a quote from real humans. So that's how it kind of all works together. You want to show up all over the place, right? Especially in HVAC, you want to show up in the Google Ads area, you want to show up in the Google Local Service Ads area, you want to show up in organic, and you want to show up on social media. So it's kind of how they all go together. Any questions about digital advertising?
So you had said that because you were searching from your profile on your computer, right, that it was going to skew what it was that you were looking at a little bit, right?
It was just some metrics that were showing that I was referring to, like some specific metrics that it was giving us. You wouldn't see that in your results. It's because it was right. Yeah, the metrics down here.
That's-
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, that was the only part I was talking about. Yeah.
All right, so what is what's a decent way to audit? Because so when I search for my phone, different keywords, whatever, it tells me what I want to see because I'm constantly like on my own website and my own social media, all that sort of stuff. How do I check to see what randos are seeing if they're searching the same keyword?
Good question. You can search as an incognito. You can go in an incognito browser and search.
Okay.
Yeah. We're gonna get into the nitty gritties of SEO and like ongoing content management and all that in session 4.
Sweet.
So I'll answer that question in a lot more detail in about a month. But that's your general answer, use an incognito browser. All right, guys, we're gonna dive into print advertising. Does anybody, this one will be a little, pretty quick, and then we're gonna get into measuring results. I'm doing good on time, so that's good. So print advertising, it's not dead. That's the first thing I'm gonna say about it. It's not dead. There is a time and a place for it. It can be very expensive, very expensive. There is no intent matched with digital advertising. So it's very difficult to reach the right person at the right time with print advertising, but it's similar to social media in that it's one more way to get your brand in front of people. And it can be the right people, right? And so when I say the right people, we can target them with interest a little bit. The interest magazines are typically more on a national scale, but where it can be really beneficial is in neighborhoods. There's a Heritage magazine. My friend Lori runs it. Her card's up there. I thought some of you guys might be interested in placing an ad up there. Lori's great to work with. You can literally put your ad in front of people that live in Heritage. I mean, and they actually, like, my mom lives in Bedford. She actually reads her magazine. And she sends me articles. Like, if one of my clients is in there, she's like, look. I'm like, oh, what a coincidence. Like, I help them get in there. But, like, it's just funny that people actually, they really do read it. They get, one a month, and they keep it on their coffee table, and they browse through it. And it's, it's telling them about businesses in their area. And what I find is really, really impactful, if you are in your target audience, I highly recommend this. I'll use an example of a client that we helped kind of get off the ground, Bedford Food and Drink. They live in the Bedford area. This guy grew up there and he started a restaurant. I mean, it's like every marketer's dream, right? It's so easy to tell that story. So Bedford Magazine had a field day with it. He was on the cover, they were doing profiles, they're talking about, hey, one of Bedford's own is now a business owner, check out this business. I mean, it was beautiful. It was just such a beautiful story. And people ate it up. I mean, he literally built his business. That magazine had a huge impact. So if you are in your target audience, absolutely contact that magazine. I highly recommend it. If you're not in your target audience, it still could be a really good effective option for you. It's all a matter of like, how much money do you have and how do we want to allocate it? And that's when it's really helpful to work with, you know, somebody like me who's kind of comfortable with all of the platforms and can help you take this amount of money and spend it wisely. And that's kind of the most common scenario. Most of us don't have, you know, money to go to all the places and even the infrastructure to support the kind of business that we bring in anyway. So, you know, let's see what else we talking about. Talk to the friends in your industry first. What worked, what didn't. I mean, you know, if you want to throw away $3,000, that's, you know, the wrong print advertising platform is a great way to do it. And then targeting is everything. Use print to hyper-target neighborhoods. So I think we covered that. What to consider, negotiate. So if you call Laurie, if she says, oh, well, I could do da-da-da-da-da, that's not the end of the conversation. What else can you do? Or what benefit do I have by extending this contract out? The 3-year contract feels really, really scary, but it is, it's definitely the most cost economic way to go typically, like, and I'm using 3-year just generally speaking. Every magazine has different things. If you are in it for the long haul, it's typically the best way to go because you get higher priority on everything. Being featured, you know, maybe you're more likely to be on the cover, and don't be afraid to ask for what you want when you're working with these professionals. Laurie's gonna hate that I said all this, but I mean, really, like, I want the inside cover. What do I need to get on the inside cover? Or I wanna be, here's a schedule of events going on in our neighborhood this month. I wanna be on the adjacent page. Like, think about where you wanna be and ask for it. And you're more likely, the answer is more likely to be yes when you're kind of in it more for the longer haul. They're more likely to give you what you want. But ask for it on the front end when you're negotiating. Working with an agency can help you get better rates. That's sometimes the case and sometimes not. I have certain providers that give me better rates for my clients, and I have others that are like, oh, we're kind of new, sorry, we're not really doing that. It's worth asking. It's worth asking. Any questions about print advertising? Yes.
Direct mailing?
Great question. Totally depends on your industry. What's industry? HVAC? Oh, hello, HVAC client. All right, so that's where you want to talk to your friends in your industry. Did this work for you? Did this not work for you? In my humble opinion, print advertising is less strategic for HVAC because most people that want HVAC now. So if you have this amount of money, I'd match in 10. I'd focus on internet results where people are going online and searching for, hey, my HVAC is broken and I'm freezing cold, like, help me, right? Matching with that person. That would be my recommendation. Is direct mail a terrible option if you do have more money? Absolutely not. Getting your brand in front of people, I mean, it is a tough industry, and the more places you can show up, the better. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay. Did I have another question back here? No? Okay. All right, so keyword search analysis. This is probably a new term for most of you unless you're in marketing. It's really, really important. And Gabe, this is speaking directly to what you asked before. It's like, how do I look when I search online? We all do it, right? I mean, I'm not gonna ask who's Googled their name recently. Like, I'm not gonna ask, because, you know, we do these things. We Google our business, we Google our services. Am I showing up, am I not? So I'm gonna give you guys a couple things, a little bit of information to look for. Don't only look for your actual website. Look at the Google business profile listings. You would be shocked how many clients you will get if you can get your Google business profile showing up above your competitors. We need to work to optimize our Google business profile right alongside our website. They are equally important. Now, if you're e-commerce on a national scale, completely irrelevant. That's where Google Merchant Center comes in handy. That's a whole nother conversation that I'm happy to have with you on the side. You want to optimize those Google Merchant Center listings 100%. But for local businesses that are in the service sector, your Google business profile is literally equally important to your website as far as showing up. So it's important that you're searching and finding, are you showing up there? Audit the appearance of your ads. If you're spending money on digital ads with Google ads, look, how does it look? Am I happy with it? Generally speaking. For example, does it have a link to HVAC companies near me? Like, oh my gosh, I mean, that just like hurt my heart when I saw that. I'm like, how did that even get there? I don't know. I hope, you know, I could be happy to help them if they call me, but like, check those things. Make sure everything's pulling in the way you want it to. We don't have full control over Google Ads anymore. So we can give it a bunch of information that it could show, and we cannot dictate what it shows at what time. There's a lot of machine learning involved now, but you want to make sure random things are not showing up like that, and make sure that you've recently audited your headlines and your descriptions. Make sure it's not. Sometimes Google Ads can make their own recommendations if you don't have the settings determined correctly. I've seen this happen a lot, where they're like, "Oh, we think this is a good headline, and we're just gonna add that for you." You have to have that toggled off. By default, it's on. So, I mean, literally, you could be spending money on ads, and the headline is not even what you want it to be. It's real. So take a look at it. Call me if you need help. Audit the appearance of your search engine results snippet. Your search engine results snippet was that thing that I said, hey, these are the organic results, where it had a company name, it had a listing that was clickable, and then it had a description underneath. On the back end of your website, you can configure what shows up where, right? That's called search engine optimization. It's called metadata, your SEO page title and your SEO meta description. You can manipulate that, and manipulate's a negative word. You can change it, you can modify it so that it's more engaging. So when you're writing your meta descriptions, I want you to think about enticing people to actually click on the website. Think about what you're writing. You're writing something to differentiate you from the search engine result above you and below you, right? So it should be enticing. It also should be keyword rich, whatever you're trying to show up on, for sure, but it should be engaging. So if, like, let's go back to the running shoe listing. Running shoes, Wake Forest, business name, we sell running shoes. I am so bored, I'm falling asleep. I'm not clicking on your ad. I'm not clicking on your search engine result. Best running shoes in Wake Forest, top rated running shoes in Wake Forest. Check us out today. We're open from 9 to 5. I'm like, oh, cool, let's go. You feel excited, you want to go. Just think about what you're writing. When you're looking through keyword search results, like Abe was talking about, hey, I was checking myself out and seeing how it looked. Don't just look at the wording. Also, did the right page pull in? I have a hardscaping client, and he's got all kinds of hardscaping services. If somebody goes to Google and searches for pergola builder, right? Those things with the wooden roofs, I don't want his homepage to show. I want his pergola page to show. If somebody's searching for landscape lighting, I want his landscape lighting page to show, not his homepage, because we want to deliver people for exactly what they're looking for, right? That's increasing their opportunity. They're increasing the chance of them becoming a client, right? Because we have 2 to 3 seconds when they land on your website. You've got 2 to 3 seconds to show them what they want, or they're gone. They go back to those search results and click the next one. So if they're landing on your homepage, they need to immediately be able to find the pergola or the landscape lighting page in that example. Does that make sense, guys? I think we already looked at a search engine results. I'm not going to do that. Is your company showing up in AI snippets and ChatGPT? AI has wormed its way into search engine results. It's real, it's here, it's not going anywhere. Most likely your company's not showing up there yet, but it's something to look out for, right? And when you start, that's a whole nother hour-long conversation about how to show up in AI search results, but it's something to take a look at. Maybe you are showing up. Maybe the information they're delivering is coming from your website. Maybe that little link button links to your website. Maybe so, maybe not. Seek professional help if your website is not ranking or showing up incorrectly. I know a girl that can help you with that if you need help with that. All right. How to use available data from Google Analytics. This is where I get to nerd out for a little bit here. We do have 15 minutes, which is all that I need. So if anybody has any questions about keyword search analysis, I didn't mean to jump over. Does anybody have questions about that? Yes, Gabe.
So us specifically, it seems the more broad of a term that you search, right? If you use fewer words, we are completely lost in the sauce. If you add things like a location, we pop right up. Is that just normal for something that's like niche and local, and there's no way to combat that without throwing a horrendous amount of money at Google to be like, hey, show this thing? Because again, we're weird. We're a weird thing, right? So if you just search raised garden beds, what you see is crap that you can buy through the mail flat pack from Temu or Home Depot or Vivor. That's what.
Think about it though. I would encourage you to think about the intent of somebody who's searching for raised garden beds. Somebody who searches raised garden beds is looking to buy a raised garden bed from Amazon or somewhere.
Right.
Somebody who's searching for raised garden bed consultant, raised garden bed builder, raised garden bed provider, raised garden beds near me, raised garden bed gardener, those are people looking for you. So if I'm somebody who's just like, oh, I need to get another raised garden bed, I already have 12 and I need another one, I'm gonna go and search, raised garden beds. So the fact that you may not be showing up on the searches that are bringing in a bunch of product listings is okay with me, because that's not your client. Your client's looking for you, like somebody who is an expert in raised garden beds and can actually be a consultant and help them. So think about that when you're doing your keyword search analysis. Think about the words that you're searching. But generally speaking, when you don't add a geographic term to the end, and
You're just gonna get.
you're gonna get national results for the most part. Yeah, you're gonna get Wayfair and Amazon and Lowe's and Home Depot. Generally speaking, yes. But if somebody's looking for a you, they're gonna attach near me or consultant or company or something that tells me I'm looking for a human, right? Or not that tells me, that tells Google. And so that's gonna trigger more service-related companies. Does that answer your question, Gabe?
Yes.
All right. So how to use available data from Google Analytics. Okay. So I'm giving you guys some of the special sauce here. I don't do this very often. I'm going to talk quickly, and I might even edit this part out of the video. We'll see. But when Google Analytics is free, it's free and it's amazing, and it tells you everything. If you connect it to your website, you can see what people are like, how people got to your website, how long they stayed there, how many events they took, and what key events they did. Like a key event being like they called you or filled out a form or something. Now you have to configure it correctly to be able to see all that. But once it's configured correctly, the number one thing I like to look at for my clients is called traffic acquisition. That shows them where the website traffic came from. That helps me earn my keep, right? So when I tell a client, hey, I'm gonna bring more traffic to your website, they're like, yeah, prove it. And then I prove it with Google Analytics, right? So we can see where are people coming to your website. If you're doing an email campaign, for example, you can see, did people come from your email to the website? If you're spending money on digital advertising, you can see how many people visited your website from digital advertising, how many people visited your website from organic search results. Organic meaning they found you. They were looking for a service you provide. They typed in raised garden bed consultant, found Half a Barn Farms, clicked, and Google Analytics is saying, oh, you got some organic traffic coming to your website, right? So and direct traffic is also the people who either type in your name, which is, very unusual, but they got there some way, 30 days ago, and your browser cached it, and so they type in HA and Half Barn Farm comes up and they hit return. That's direct traffic, right? Your browser remembered it, and they've already been there before. They're coming back to your site. Includes a number of sessions, which is how many people interacted with your website in some way, shape, or form. Engagement, I kept that general intentionally. You can see the number of events, and an event would be like a scroll or a click through to another page. And then a really important stat is time of engagement, right? So did they land and immediately bounce off? That your engagement would be like 0 to 2 seconds, right? This is all average engagement because, normally you have more than one visit to your website for, say you're looking at the last 30 days, probably have more than one visit. So what you're looking at is traffic that came from here, overall, longer engagement coming from organic with what we see. Direct traffic, lower engagement. Direct traffic is somebody who already knows about you and they're looking for your phone number, or do they work in Clayton? I can't remember. Yeah, they do, cool, and they leave. They're looking for the answer to a question. Organic, we find that people are hanging around looking for you, like looking at what you do, where you work, blah, blah, blah. Maybe they're reading your latest blog. Maybe they're deciding whether or not they trust you based on your website. People judge us based on our websites. It's real. So we see a lot of higher engagement from that. Date comparison tool is really, really helpful with Google Analytics. Once you've had it set up for a while, over a year is ideal because there's a seasonality component in most of our industries. Like HVAC back there, like you're gonna have a spike right now, no doubt. People are freezing cold, right? You're gonna have a spike in July, no doubt. So if you're comparing, hey, how are we doing? Are we increasing in organic traffic? Like we've been investing money in this marketing consultant. I should see an increase in organic traffic. Well, if I'm comparing July, August to September, October, that's not fair to me, right? Because it's room temperature in September and October, and I wouldn't even notice if my HVAC was broken, right? But I'll tell you what, June, July, if my HVAC is broken, I know within an hour, right? I mean, it's so having the comparison of last June, July compared with this June, July is extremely valuable. That's where you can really see your growth from year to year. Now, it also can be strategic to compare, like if you just started an ad campaign, for example, and you're like, hey, I want to see, did my overall traffic go up? Did I get some more key events? Blah, 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 blah. Compare, if your ad campaign ran for 30 days, before you turn it off, go into your Google Analytics account and compare the last 30 days with the previous 30 days and look for the difference. Maybe it's worth it and maybe it's not. You know, we talk about measuring results. You can see all of this in Google Analytics. Traffic acquisition source medium. This is where I really get nerdy because the traffic channels I mentioned before weren't specific enough for people like me. Like organic is not specific enough. It tells you organic Google, organic DuckDuckGo, organic Yahoo. And yes, I still have people finding my clients through Yahoo and Bing. I know, it's crazy. It's about 6% of people that are still using Bing over Google. I mean, who knew, right? And there's the occasional Yahoo. So you can really see differentiation within each platform, which is really, really cool. Social media, instead of it being social media, it says Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. It tells you which platform, and it gets even more granular than that. You'll see something called l.facebook.com, m.facebook.com. That's referring to like tablet versus desktop versus mobile. Like you can actually see all of this in there, and it's free, y'all. It's so cool. I'm going to show you guys what it looks like. I'm always scared showing my whole computer. All right, so let's see. We're looking at traffic acquisition report. We're looking at the last 30 days, and you know you can see in general how things are going. This is what we were talking about, the differentiating factors here. Paid social, direct, organic, paid search, organic social, all the things. Now when we add source medium as a differentiating factor, this is where we get way more information. So you can see paid Facebook, I told y'all that ad's working. It's working, right? Direct traffic, Google organic, Google CPC. CPC refers to Google ads. Instagram paid, mobile Facebook, blah, blah, blah. You guys get the idea, right? So I'm going to take away the source medium here just to make it a little bit less specific, and then I'm going to show you guys how to adjust your date range. Right up here in the top, you can customize what dates you're looking at, and then down here at the bottom, you can toggle to compare and change the date. You know, you can compare with the previous period or the previous year or custom dates. The way you get here in general is acquisition, traffic acquisition. All right, I know that was extremely specific. Hopefully, you know, I didn't put anybody to sleep. What's coming next? We're gonna meet again a month from now, the third Friday in February 20th, 8 to 9 a.m. We're gonna be in this cozy cocktail lounge. Wishing it was the afternoon and it was time for cocktails, but it's time for coffee. We got a little more work to do. We're going to dive into SEO strategy, reporting and implementing needed changes to SEO strategy based on your results. So we're going to kind of like look back at Google Analytics and based on what you're seeing in your keyword search analysis and your Google Analytics reports, what changes to make based on what you're seeing. Blogging and how it supports your SEO efforts. Google profile optimization, I mentioned it today. I'm going to give you guys some secret sauce and like actually some tips on how to optimize your Google business profile. Social media, and posting and incorporating videos, YouTube videos and Reels. It's hot, y'all. You gotta do it. Get out of your comfort zone, turn your camera on, take some videos. We'll talk about how to make one video maximize that for you. Any questions about what's coming up or anything we've talked about? Nothing? Okay, yay. So if you guys want to scan this QR code, it's going to link directly to my contact form. You can just leave it empty. If you think of something like on your way home that you wish you asked me, you can just fill it out. There's not some rando person that's going to read your question. It's me. It's coming directly to my inbox. So it's a faster way to email me essentially. I'll put this back up in a second. I did want you guys to see in case anybody wanted to take a picture of that. That's my email address and my phone number as well. It's all also on the contact page. It says contact@unitamarketing.com. It forwards to Rebecca. So either one, they go to the same place. So yeah, I'll go back to that FAQ that just goes to our contact page. Make sure there wasn't anything else. Yeah, that was it. All right, guys. Thank you for being here, and I'm around if you have any questions that you didn't want to ask publicly. I will turn the video off so they will be off the record. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you. Before everybody shifts around, I want to take a